right, hello and welcome to episode 54 of the 2R2 Pass podcast. I am your co-host, Juan Martinez, and to my left or to my right, he is doing the Daniel-san. And am I supposed to be Mr. Miyagi? It's Jacques Slade.
What up, y'all? What up?
You need to be watching the video. You need to be watching the
Yeah.
video for this one.
Yeah. There's a fly in here. It is. I feel like it knows that I'm on the podcast, and it's like attack every time. I feel like it's time for me to start something. So this show is gonna be a little weird because I'll be swinging it. I swear I'm gonna be swinging that fly. Yeah. I don't know where it is.
It's gonna
now.
bother you.
I guess we're.
It's gonna bother you.
I guess we're fine now. For the moment, we're good.
For the moment.
But if you guys see me like swinging at things in the middle of the show, just know that I'm being attacked by. God damn.
Oh, see, this is the content that you people do not pay for. This is the content that people are here to see. Jacques Slade struggling with a fly as we're recording a podcast.
I just gotta wait for it to land, and then we'll be fine. It'll land, and then I'll crush it. I'll crush it with my bare hands.
Anyways, let's try to get on with the show. Jacques, how you doing, man?
Yeah.
How was your weekend?
I'm good.
Everything good, yeah.
I'm good. It's a good weekend. I got to see Chris Brown last night. I went to go see him at the SoFi Center.
Okay.
He had on the Tokyo Fives to start the show, which is cool. Had like this yellow outfit on, had the shoes to go with it. And then, interestingly enough, he switched into some Timbs. He switched into some boots. And then his third outfit change, he wore the Swarovski Jordan 1s, the women's version.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And I thought like, that's like the only acceptable time for you to have those shoes on. Like, it's because he's on stage. Like, it works because you're on stage and the light's hitting you and it's reflecting off the shoes and everything.
Sure.
And they're like, that's an acceptable time to be spotted wearing like Swarovski covered shoes, period. Not even George, just Swarovski covered shoes. Like, it feels like that's a fashion moment kind of thing. And it's like, it works for that moment to wear them.
I actually saw that on the screen.
Yeah, you see it? Yeah. I feel like, but that's the only time that felt appropriate to wear those. I don't know when else somebody would wear them.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, there is one other place you could see someone wear those, and that's New York Fashion Week. And that's the master of the segue getting into it. Yeah.
Look at that.
That might be the best segue we've ever done on this show. Anyway, so ever. So New York Fashion Week is going down, and ANTA and Kyrie had quite the presence there. They showed off a lot of new sneakers, a lot of new products for us to I don't know if appreciate is the word, but to just definitely look at and just be interested by them. A lot of people are just, checking them out, seeing what's out there, but Kyrie also debuted something that I just never thought we'd ever see, and that's cowboy boots.
Yeah.
Cowboy boots. Kyrie, ANTA, Kyrie boots. Cowboy boots. And I guess there was a clip floating around that he said that he would like to play in them, and he believed that he could actually play in those cowboy boots. Now,
okay.
Jacques Slade, as an appreciator of footwear, as someone who has worked in the industry for a number of years now. So similarly, I've also worked in the footwear industry in the media side for a number of years now. I gotta say, the idea of cowboy boots in the NBA, or just the idea of wearing cowboy boots, is something that is hurting my soul. I just can't see. Yeah, it's just never been my thing. No disrespect to anybody who's into the whole cowboy boots, that whole country lifestyle and all that stuff. It's just never been my thing. But to see that there has just been this adoption of the culture to get into cowboy boots. I don't know if you want to credit that to Beyonce or anybody else, with like people really jumping on board of the country bandwagon, like, wearing the hat, the cowboy hat.
Yeah.
And now we've got like Kyrie bringing out these boots, which I'm sure is going to attract a lot of people who want to stand out. It's going to get those one who wants to show off a fit in those cowboy boots. And I'm sure they're going to look nice. They're going to look cool. But for me, the old head in me is just like dying a little bit inside.
So, I mean, I think I have a slightly different perspective on this.
Of course.
So I'm going to hesitate to call them cowboy boots because I feel like
Hmm.
that's offensive to people that wear actual cowboy boots. I feel like that's
Okay.
I feel like that's somewhat like someone calling any basketball shoe a Jordan kind of thing.
Mm.
So
Sure. Sure.
I'm gonna give them some grace there. I would say sneaker boots is probably the best phrasing to call them.
Sure. Sure.
And I mean, I imagine if they're sneaker boots, it's just like, it's no different than those what were the Under Armour ones called? The B88, the BB88 or BB8s
The BB.
from
Did
years
you say
ago.
BB-8 like Star Wars? Yeah.
No, oh yeah, that is Star Wars. Weren't they like BB something?
Yeah, they were BB
The Under
something,
Armour.
but yeah, I mean, yeah, but they were BB something, but like Max or BB whatever Charge, I think it was like BB Charge or something like that.
Yeah, let me see.
But
Armor
I mean, you can call
BB8.
them sneaker boots and everything, but the look at first glance, you are going to assume they are cowboy boots. Now, we have seen like there's this customizer out there, like I believe is New York based, who has been
Yes.
making quite the name for himself, producing cowboy boots. Like they've converted Jordans into cowboy boots. I believe in the WWE, Seth Rollins wore like a pair of Air Force Ones that were converted into cowboy boots. So, like I said, like it's infiltrating the culture. And like I said, hey, God bless anybody who wants to go, rock those kinds of, sneaker boots or cowboy boots, whatever you want to call them. Just for me personally, I'm just like, oh, I feel like I got away from this. When I was in college, I had a lot of friends who were into like, going to, the country bars, doing the line dancing and all that stuff. And they have like their cowboy
Yeah.
boots and everything. And for me, I was just like, no, I'm still gonna wear sneakers, dog, when we go to these country places and we do the line dances and all that stuff. And I felt like I finally got away. I broke free from that
You broke
after
free. Wow.
yeah, after college. I felt like I finally got away from that. And now like 20 something years later, it's like slowly creeping back into my life in a professional way, not even a person like, personally, like I'm never gonna see these or whatever, but like professionally, we're gonna have to talk about these, especially if they take off. And I'm just gonna have to give like, opinions about them that I'm sure people are gonna hate. So
I don't know if people are going to hate it. I think more people will agree with you than will agree with me.
sure,
Um,
sure.
I don't mind them, especially the brown pair.
The brown pair, okay.
Um, there's a brown pair and the black pair. The black pair is definitely more like um looks like it's mimicking more of a cowboy boot more, whereas the
Mm-hmm.
brown pair feels more like a fashion choice, where the
Sure.
black pair just looks like it's a basically a basketball. I mean a cowboy boot with a sneaker on the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I can see Kyrie wearing them in a game just because like that's him pushing the limits of what's possible. I think you see that with him. And I'm not mad at him. I'm not mad at him. I can see people playing in these, see him playing in these in particular. And I think that culture of cowboy culture, I guess, is becoming more acceptable. We just had those, was it Dunks? I believe it was a couple of months ago
Mm-hmm.
that were rodeo inspired. So we have
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
those.
there have been like several releases that have come out that definitely have those kinds of influences. So, yeah, I
Yeah.
mean,
And I think
yeah,
cowboy
yeah, like,
culture is kind of shedding off its like old like 50s 60s sort of vibes and is kind of
hmm
coming into the future and more people are talking about it.
yeah, totally. And yeah, I mean, like I said, if that's the wave now and people are into that, more power to them. I'm just gonna be over here being like, I can't. I like old
It's
country. I
cowboy
like Willie
core.
Nelson and those kinds of country music. All right.
Yeah, it's
I
cowboy
like that
core.
old school.
We're in the
Yeah.
cowboy core era.
We are definitely in the cowboy core. Oh, that's country core, cowboy core, whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And they didn't really say anything about like whether these are going to be, because Kyrie said he's going to play in them. I'm assuming they have some sort of like, tech in them that would make them playable on the court
Mm.
besides like, slapping in some custom insoles or anything like that. So
Yeah, yeah. I
if
imagine
Kyrie
they
says he
might
can
have
play in them, oh, there, good. Yeah.
yeah, no, I'll say you're right. I imagine they have all the anti tech that he has in his basketball shoes. So their version of Nitro is I'm sure probably packed inside of these. So it probably has a nice ride. I imagine the grip is great. You know, Might be the move, Juan. Maybe you're shutting us down a little too early. Maybe you're
I'm being
you're
a
get
hater. I'm
you're
being a
getting
hater.
yeah, you're getting ahead of this, and really this might be the future.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I can see it now. Like Kyrie in like a clip, a social clip where he's like at the country bar and he's doing the boot scooting boogie and like those cowboy boots, and I'm just gonna be like, I want to get
The
off. I
boot
want to get
scooting
off the
boogie.
street. Boot scooting boogie. Yeah,
I want to
man.
see
Like
what the boot scooting boogie is. That's
you
really what I'm
don't.
curious
You really
about.
don't.
Okay. Okay.
As somebody
All right. All right.
who went through that phase, Wednesday nights at the Branding Iron, in the what was it? What for you was that?
Wow. Went
Yeah,
through that
college.
phase. That
Yeah, man.
yeah,
We
that's
Wednesday nights. That was college night back then. What was it? What was it? What for you was that? Like the 91, I think, or like the 10, or like the 10 and the 91 meet, or does that? I don't even know if that's correct. But yeah, somewhere like
wow.
in the like deep in like the 91 freeway over there, like in Riverside, San Bernardino area. Like, oh boy, like that was certainly a time when I would go
Yeah,
there and I would feel like I was very there's not a lot of melanin around here. I feel like I'm
that's
like
funny.
you
I kind of want to see this now. Now I'm curious to see what this
uh,
life of this.
unfortunately, there's not a lot of footage because it was the early 2000s, so not a lot of pictures and videos rolling around during that time.
Yeah,
Now, if it was around today, we'd definitely be a lot of videos of me circulating, of me trying desperately to like catch up to those
I
dances
love
and
it.
all that. Yeah,
That
yeah.
would be the most entertaining thing I've seen in a long time. But yeah,
Oh, I
shout out
bet
to
it would
Kyrie.
be. Yeah, no, shout out to
Yeah,
Kyrie
and
trying something new, going for a new lane. And I'm sure if this takes off, he's going to be looked at as a trendsetter and somebody who's, ahead of the curve. So shout out
yeah,
to
and
Kai.
are they ANTA branded? Let me see. I need to see a close up.
Well, if they're not
Are
ANTA
they ANTA?
branded, well, if they're
I
not,
don't
then,
see.
if it's still like, he's like, off ANTA projects, regardless, like if they do release to retail, they are, they're going to have like a certain, like, they're going to have their fan base. They're going to definitely have those people who are going to like, try them on just to like, do something different with their fits and, just
Yeah,
to
I mean, they
flex
might.
on the
It might be
online.
something this might be what they've been waiting for. Now I got to go find my Kyrie's because I can see the bottoms, and I wonder if
Uh-huh.
the bottom is the same as his shoe.
Okay.
Let's go take a
So while
look.
you go do that, I'm going to transition into the next topic that we should talk about, and that is the Jordan Trunner OS. It's getting quite the big
Yes.
push from Jordan brand. A lot of the different colorways have been revealed over the past week. I believe you also posted about those, Jacques, talking
I
about
did.
the different colorways and like, yeah, man, it's getting quite a Oh, we've got the Kyrie's in hand.
No,
But
but we can
yeah,
go.
no,
No,
the
no.
Jordan.
We can continue talking about the Trunner.
Okay, yeah. Well, so the Jordan Trunner OS, it's designed as more of like a yeah, no, it's got the Trunner vibes, but it also has like this trail,
Yeah.
walking vibe where it's like it's designed to be an everyday shoe for people. Where like, whether you want to go for a hike in them, whether you want to take a casual walk in them, but it's definitely
Mm-hmm.
Jordan pitching a shoe that is meant for everyday use. Now,
Yeah.
me personally, the design is interesting. I don't know if it's like the crossover that they are hoping for. I might be wrong with this one too, like, kind of like the cowboy boot thing, but this is definitely like a swing for them, like a big swing just because of like how they are talking about it, dropping them in different colorways. Like, what is your take on the Trunner OS?
I think this is like the Jordan brand trying to get in on the chunky, not necessarily chunky shoe, but like the chunky race shoe. You know, but
Mm-hmm.
there's a different, like there's the chunky dad shoe, but then there's like the chunky kind of race shoe that people are kind of wearing now, like the running shoes that are like a little
Right.
chunkier. Those are kind of having a moment now. And I think this is just
Mm-hmm.
Jordan brand kind of getting into that space.
Mm-hmm.
So this is like kind of their response to that. I mean, obviously, I'm not sure it's really made for actual training. I know they'll say that that's what the purpose of it is, but I think it's really built to be a lifestyle shoe and to kind of get that lifestyle energy going behind it. It's a great time for it because the bigger, blockier shoes are kind of having a moment now. So it's a
Yeah.
good time for it. I don't know if these colorways are going to translate. The ones that I've seen haven't been like eye popping kind of colorways. they've all been like, oh, okay, yeah, that's a cool colorway, but it hasn't really been like, oh, okay, yeah, that's a crazy colorway. So it'll be interesting to see where they go and how people actually respond to them. I imagine they're going to be hella comfortable, again, because it's more like a lifestyle silhouette than it is an actual training silhouette. So we'll see.
I mean, do you think how they're going to push it is by going, not necessarily like, obviously, Jordan is about like, the peak of performance and all that stuff. Is this going to be like they're going to be seeding it to influencers? Are they going to be pushing that particular lane where you're going to see a lot of people in casual settings wearing these instead of like your typical Jordan spot where it's like on
Mm,
the field, on the track, on the court, and all that stuff? Are we going to start to see like more of a lifestyle vibe with this one where like you're going to see
yeah.
like your fairly popular figures wearing these but for basically any reason besides sport.
Yeah, I think they'll treat it like the Cactus Jack. I think it's going to have that same kind of energy and that go after that same kind of crowd. I've seen
Hmm.
sneaker influencers they've gotten packages with it in there already. They've gotten like unboxing seating sets, and they're
Hmm.
definitely leaning more towards like the casual sort of sneaker influencers. I haven't seen like Nightwing. I haven't seen Nightwing with a pair. I haven't seen like Foamer with a pair. It's been like these like new lifestyle focused sort of sneaker influencers or sneaker creators that I
Right.
think they're aiming towards and giving them the look at them before they approach people like myself or they approach people like Foamer or they approach people like Nightwing. Like I don't think anybody in that like circle that really like reviews sneakers in a really thoughtful kind of way has gotten them. Unless, I mean, I haven't seen Seth with them either, so maybe Seth, but no one in that like that crowd that I know of has gotten them yet.
Right. Do you feel like part of the reason why they are doing this kind of push, which is, I'm not going to say unusual, but it's a little bit more, it's a little bit different compared to like other times that they've tried to like push like, a lifestyle sneaker or like a training sneaker. Do you think part of it is just because other Jordans aren't popping, whether it's retros, whether it's the flagship model, whether it's the other signature, models, the Tatums, the Lucas, the Zions just are not popping like they probably hope it would be?
I mean, I imagine they're trying to take some focus off of the retros.
Mm-hmm.
Now, whether or not this is going to be the answer for that, I know that they must feel the pressure of retros not having the sort of sell through that they had before, and they need to find something else to make up that difference or take the attention off of the retros so that there's
Mm-hmm.
something else to focus on and something else to build upon. So I'm this in my mind, this is where those are going to be positioned as the quote unquote anti-retro, even though it's kind of technically a reimagined version of a retro.
Yeah, it definitely has like a little bit of that vibe of the original Trunner, just a little chunkier.
Yeah.
It definitely feels like if you told me like, no branding on it, I would definitely say Trunner, but
Yeah.
it's definitely like more of a modern take on it just because of like, like you said, the chunky trainer is definitely in at the moment.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I know people are talking quite positively about the shoe, especially like when it was first revealed. There was a lot of like buzz around it. I just don't know if this is the one though. Like I had my hopes
Yeah.
for like, do you remember like back during the what was it? The Air Jordan 34, 35 era when they were like releasing like the Apex, like when it had the
Yeah.
React foams on them. Like I thought that was going to be the one that was going to take off in terms of like non Air Jordan signature product. It just didn't turn out that way. I always thought those deconstructed looking sneakers around that time, I thought those were like a
Yeah.
good look. And there's still a part of me that hopes like they come back around at some point, but I just doubt it. But yeah, like I always thought those were going to be the ones. So I never remember to push for that too during that time, and just didn't turn out. So I feel like this is kind of like a similar kind of push where it's like, hey, we have Jordan. We're not just retros, guys. We ain't just retros. So
Yeah.
like take a look at our other stuff too. We have a lot of stuff in the catalog that you guys can take a look at. And it's not just reserved for, you kind of like look at it. It's the Team Jordan narrative where if it's not a signature Air Jordan, if it's not a retro, it's quote unquote Team Jordans. And it's always looked at like a pejorative. where it seems like it's negative, and I've never looked at it that way. It's just another Jordan product, and whether it's good or bad,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter if it's signature or not. But, there's that narrative out there that if it's not a signature Jordan, it's a team Jordan, so that must mean it's trash. So, in a way, the Trunner OS is kind of behind the eight ball in a sense, because they have to overcome that narrative, like when it
Yeah.
comes to, quote unquote team Jordans.
Yeah. I feel like that's a recent, I mean, not recent, but like I
Certainly
guess
since we've
recent
been
is the word
around.
I'll use.
Certainly
Yeah,
since we've
like
been
that's a
around. Yeah.
recent sort of sentiment because before
Yeah.
that wasn't the sentiment.
Oh
Like
no.
before the 2010s, I don't think people were I don't remember people having negative things to say about Team Jordans.
Mm-mm.
And it felt like once the 2010s kind of came around, that's when that conversation started to pick up. Um, so I'm not opposed. I'm not opposed to it. The changes and the updates, I like that they're doing that and updating the shoes, and making them, to fit the times. I do want them to have something to rely on besides retros, because retros make up so much of the business. It's
Mm-hmm.
just good business practice to have something else to kind of level that thing out. That way you're not tied to the ebbs and flows of that one particular set of sneakers, like with the retros. It's almost like it's like your retirement account. You know what I mean? Like they're going to tell you, well, don't put everything into one stock, because then you're
Mm-hmm.
beholden to that one stock. Spread the money around, and some stocks may do good, some may do bad, but you kind of balance it out so that you're making money, but you're not risking everything at the end of the day. So that would be my take on all of that.
Total disclosure here: neither I or Jacques are financial advisors. Do not take this is meant for just entertainment purposes only. Enjoy.
Yes,
Anyways. But yeah, no, I hope it
absolutely.
takes off. Like, just like the cowboy boots. Again, I'm just trying not to be a hater. I hope they take off. I hope they become popular. I hope people like them. But yeah, like, I just don't know if this is gonna be the one though. But yeah.
Right, right.
Well,
I'm not. I'm not confident it'll be the one either.
yeah.
But I do like that they're like stepping out in this way.
Totally, totally. All right, moving on to our next thing, Jacques. And speaking of stuff that is, like, interesting out there at the moment, this actually just happened, I believe, today. And it's courtesy of our friends at Soul Retriever, because they're the ones who posted this thing. Uh,
Yeah.
Apparently, there's an athlete at Penn State who is unhappy with the news that Penn State is ending their relationship with Nike. I'm not sure which is which. I don't know if Nike ended it or your Penn State ended it, but they're going to be
Yeah.
switching to Adidas for 2026. And this particular athlete, who I'm looking up right now, their name is Nico Schultz. I believe he's a runner for the school. He has
Hmm.
basically gone, in a funny way, scorched earth, where he is basically like, I am disappointed that, Nike is moving, like, Nike's leaving Penn State, and, they're going to switching to Adidas, and Adidas is trash, blah, 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 blah. You've got, like, he's posting these TikToks where he's, like, not particularly happy, and he's just savoring the last, Penn State Nike
The
care
last
package that
year.
he's getting. Yeah, the last seating thing that he's getting from Nike, and he's just
Yeah.
appreciating that. So, yeah, I thought that was quite an interesting take from an athlete who seems to be like, just doesn't care. Which, here's the thing though, is that I guess that hasn't been reported or hasn't been talked about, is that he's not going to be there for the long run. He's not going to be there in 2026, because apparently in one of the TikToks he also says he's not there next year. So he really has no stake in it. So I guess him going, burning the house down and not
Yeah.
caring doesn't really matter, because he's not going to be around to see, like, the Adidas partnership come to fruition. But I just thought it was funny and quite refreshingly honest from an athlete to, basically say their piece and be like, nah, like, maybe one of the reasons why he went to Penn State was because it was a Nike school.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like a feeling of, like, you go to a school because, you're a highly recruited athlete. You go there because you like the facilities, you like the coaches, you like the staff and all that stuff. And then once you get there, you get the rug pulled out from under you. And now, there's new staff, and in this case, you went to Penn State because it's been a Nike school, I believe, for like a very long time. And then all of a
Yeah.
sudden it's like, nah, dog, we with Adidas now. We taking that check from the three stripes now. We taking that three
Yeah,
stripes
which
money
is
now. So
crazy. I mean,
yeah,
I get it from Penn State's perspective because I think it was like a $300 million Adidas offered them. So I'd be like, I'm out too. Sorry, Nike, gotta go. 3 mil.
three stripes,
Um,
three.
so yeah, there you go. But I can get the kids' perspective too. Like I imagine kids. I mean, I would have to say it's probably a small part of the decision making process, whether it's a Nike or Under Armour or Adidas school. But I mean, I think Nike obviously still owns the lion's share of like the cultural zeitgeist. So kids are gonna weigh that a little more heavily. Like, oh, I get free Nikes. Like that's I think most athletic kids' dreams to get free Nike shoes. So I can understand that. I don't know if Adidas or really any other brand for that matter has that sort of loyalty, especially here in the US. Outside the US is a different story. I imagine most
Oh,
kids
right.
want to be an Adidas or a Puma athlete, kind of, based on their love of soccer or
Mm-hmm.
football proper.
Mm-hmm.
So I get it. I get it.
Yeah, it would be like, yeah, I mean, like I would imagine, like there's a lot of kids out there who, the brand I think plays a role, depending on who the kid is. Like, it's a big role or a small role. I remember
Yeah.
when one of my nephews was born, like we made the joke like we're gonna make him a golf prodigy, and we're gonna send him to Oregon so we can get the free Jordans and all that stuff. And the kid would get
Mm.
the Jordan, the kids would get the free Nike stuff, and then we'd be like, yeah, make sure they're size 11. It doesn't matter if it's your size or not, kid. Just make sure.
Right. As you should.
Make sure
As
they're
you
size
should.
11. Make sure they're size 11, and we'll never sell it. We're not gonna be those. We're not gonna be those athletes, but we just we
Don't
want those
make your
pick through
uncle beat
threes.
you.
Oh, oh, hey man, hey, we don't do that around here.
Sure you don't. Sure you
Oh no!
don't.
Whoa, 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 whoa! We're gonna edit this part out of the podcast. Anyways, but yeah, I just thought it was refreshing just to see an athlete who's just not just towing the line, and is like
Yeah.
genuine. Like sometimes you'll just see the look on these kids' faces, or like an athlete who's like just kind of feels like stuff got kind of pulled out from under them, and it's like, oh, I kind of have to like put on the brave face or the straight face and be like,
Yeah.
at the same time be like, but this kid's like, nah, son. But it would have been a lot funnier if he had been like, staying at Penn State for the long run instead of
Right.
like, bouncing or anything like that. It would have been a lot funnier if he was like still there posting TikToks about like, I miss my Nikes. I'm going to wear Penn State Nikes, even though we're in Adidas school now. I thought they'd be a lot funnier than that if it was that the case. But yeah, I just thought it was like a fun little thing that you don't hear often. Like you just don't hear like athletes going against the grain in that sense, especially when there's like
Yeah.
brand sponsorships on the line, because it could affect them if this kid is like, oh, if something does he's not agreeable with it, no, we're not going to sign him to anything, we're not going to give him a deal or anything like that. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I just thought it was one of those things that's quite interesting. And yeah, no, I appreciate the honesty from that kid, Nico Schultz,
Mm-hmm.
who I don't know if,
Yeah.
I guess like I Googled him, and I guess he's like a aspiring Olympic athlete. So, hopefully it works out for him. And hopefully
Yeah.
Noah
Good luck
Lyles
to
doesn't get
him.
a hold of him. And then, it's like, don't come to
Mhm.
Adidas, don't come to Adidas or
Yeah.
something like that.
Wow.
Oh, we all know Noah wants to leave. We all know he's like just counting the days whenever his deal comes up. He's like out of here the moment
Yeah, but I mean, I
whenever
don't even
that
know if he'll
contract
get a
is up.
shoe. He can leave, but will he get what he wants, which is a sneaker? I don't know if that's going to happen.
Well, it's probably not going to be at Nike because of like, if he's making that kind of a fuss at Adidas, if the moment like, he starts to see things go south at Nike, Noah's not going to be quiet about it. So I don't
Yeah.
even think Nike takes that risk, if that's the case. But yeah. Yeah, no, just a fun little story over there. Something that is, I don't think is fun though, Jacques, and apparently is reportedly coming soon, is the Adidas Kobe 2 is coming back, which it has been, taking place this year. much to our collective chagrin, which is a word that I love to
Chagrin.
use.
Yeah.
Chagrin. It's a word that I love using that word. It's a fun little word that I've always, chagrin. But anyways, much to our collective chagrin, the Kobe 2 is returning once again, and it's going to drop in the USA colorway. The American flag, the one that the one that Kobe wore famously. Now, it's a touching tribute to the victims of 9/11. I get that. I understand that. At the same time, though, those were gaudy looking MFers, man. Like, they are arguably one of the most wildest, not great,
Divisive
divisive.
shoes.
Let's be honest, they were
The
ugly,
crazy
man.
thing,
They were not. They were not great.
I would say the crazy thing, it's more the shoe than it is the colorway. Like, the colorway done right is fine, but like the shoes just don't fit the bill when it comes to the design process.
Yeah, and I guess Adidas is gonna take a shot and release them as the Crazy 2. I think they're called the Crazy 2, whatever. And it's not going to have, of course, obviously, it's not going to have the Froby branding. So a big part of the appeal of the sneaker is gone from me. Like, I've always been this proponent of like, I hope Adidas and the Brian Estate could like come to an agreement where, we could get proper Kobe Adidas retros. I think I would be super on board with that. But I don't care. Personally, with this USA one, like, I don't care if it had Froby branding, if it had his autograph, if it had anything. I don't think I would be like on board with this. It's just, why are we doing this, guys? Like, I understand like the kitschy, the goofy appeal of it, and it's gonna be something that for the fans of Kobe, collectors, and all that stuff. It's gonna be like something that they can finally have in their stores, their collection, or whatever. But for me personally, I'm like, are we like running out of ideas? And we have finally reached a point where let's bring out the USA Kobe's. Now, the other story about that is that LeBron also wore them. So it's one of the rare sneakers that both Kobe and LeBron wore. So, but the sad part is they
LeBron
can't
wore
tell
the
that
USA
story.
colorway?
Yeah, he did. When he was at high school. The story goes, it's a weird story. And
Kobe gave him to him, right?
Yeah, he gave it to him.
Yeah,
and he wore them. I believe it was for the game against Melo, like the St. Vincent St. Mary's against Oak Hill when Melo was still in high school. So that's another legendary sneaker story and all that stuff. But Adidas can't tell that story. Like they can't even allude to it. They can't even hint at it that this was a particularly special shoe that both two of the greatest of all time wore. So it's kind of like the context is going to be lost on a lot of people. Like obviously for the super fans who are obviously the ones who are going to buy the shoe, they're going to know that that's part of the story. But for the general public who is like, just casual, or might be a Kobe fan or might be a LeBron fan and might be, who might be interested in something like this, no matter how bad it actually looks, they're not going to get it. They're not going to know the story because Adidas can't, of course, like social media will tell you that story and all that stuff, but it would be nice. It would be fun if Adidas could tell the story themselves.
Could tell that story. Yeah. And they're not telling that. They're not telling that story. Everyone else is kind of telling the story, which, sometimes can be a bad thing because like everybody's telling the story about what it's about. And then the official images and all that stuff come out and it's like, no, you guys are completely wrong.
Yeah, man. It's just, like I said, like it was funny when the Kobe 2 started rolling out and Adidas started bringing it back and we started talking mess about it. And like on Hard Pass, we had all of these people come out of the woodwork and be like, yeah, man, no, I was a fan from the beginning and all that stuff. I'm an OG. I was like, super, into those Kobe 2s. Y'all don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, I think we know what we're talking about, dog. Like, this was a big reason why he left. Kobe, one of the big reasons why Kobe left was because of this shoe and like what was coming next. And so to have this revisionist history about like, the Kobe 2s is kind of wild, but I get it. I do understand. And, now it's going to be always foolish of me to assume that there are no fans of any sneaker, no matter how good or bad I think it is. Like that's the lesson I learned from that particular stretch of the show is like, no matter how bad I think a shoe is, there's always going to be someone who's going to be like, man, I was a fan of those. Y'all don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Man, y'all messed out and all that stuff. Like the Air Jordan 22 or like the 21, those things that like I vaguely remember are like not great. I bet you like once Jordan start retroing those and we start making jokes about them, about how terrible they are and all that stuff, someone's going to come for us and be like, man, I have all the colorways. I'm like, congratulations. You might be the only one.
I meet guys like that all the time. I have every Jordan, bro.
I have every Jordan, bro. It's yeah, man, like the Air Jordan 2010, man, like, Dwayne Wade, man, like, he wasn't dying inside when he posed for that. Yeah, man, he wasn't dying inside when he posed for that picture, man. He was totally happy about it. I'm like, yeah, sure, man. Like if you
totally happy. He was excited even.
He was so excited that he left for Li Ning. That's how excited he was. Dear God. Anyway.
Basically.
Yeah, I you know what? I think when these do release, I think they're going to be a huge hit. Like, I actually do think because of the novelty, because of the history, and because of the current political climate that we won't talk about too much. Like, I think there are going to be some people who are going to try to cop these just because, America.
America. 100% America.
America. All right, Jacques. We're doing a short podcast today because, let's be honest, I got to get dinner ready. But before we go, it's time for everybody's favorite sneaker segment. It's Sneaker Mount Rushmore Plus time.
Sneaker Mount Rushmore Plus.
Today, in honor of the Jordan Trunner OS, which is a sentence that I never thought I would ever say, we are doing the Sneaker Mount Rushmore Plus of non-Air Jordan Jordans. Basically,
non-Air Jordan
the Team Jordans. The Team Jordan Mount Rushmore Plus. So the categories for this one is the OGs, which means the stuff from the 90s when, it wasn't even Jordan brand, it was brand Jordan. So anything that came out during that time. The non-OGs, which is basically anything past the year 2000, which is a wide swath, I know, but work with us here, and then for our next category is signature line, basically any non-Air Jordan signature line that the brand has come out through the years, whether it's Chris Paul, I was going to say Blake Griffin, Carmelo Anthony, Derek Jeter, Randy Moss, Luka, Zion, Tatum, and all those guys. So basically anything from those. And then we've got a Jordan brand athlete. Basically, who's your Jordan brand athlete that deserves a spot on the Rushmore? And then finally, a wild card. So basically any sneaker, you want to pick an athlete, go right ahead. It's just, who do you think deserves that wild card spot? I don't know. Did you go first or did I go first? I don't even know what this ordering is.
I think it's my turn to go first.
Okay. So again, snake rules. So you go first and then I go and then make two picks. Yes. So you'll go first. And so your pick for OG Team Jordan.
Jordan Jumpman Pro. I feel like that's the best of all of the non-signature Jordans. I feel like the Jordan Jumpman Pro is probably the best representative for those silhouettes. I think most people that recognize it for what it is know that it was just as good as any signature shoe. So I give that shoe pretty high praise when it comes to non-signature shoes.
Absolutely, and it's well deserved. I remember Kevin Garnett wearing those, and me and my brother were like super fans of those shoes. We're like, yo, we got to get those KG Jordans, and it's like, yeah, man, like get those. So I remember he bought the I think it was like the white and blue pair, and I ended up getting the black, white, and gold pair like down the line, and we were like, love those shoes. Jumpman Pros are nice. Among the best, just Jordans, period. Like, it could hang with, like, your Air Jordans and all that stuff, like proper Air Jordans.
100%.
So, well deserved. Since you went with that, I hate you. We're going to have to go with the next best thing, which is the Jordan Team 1, which was the sneakers that were part of, like, the brand Jordan rollout. There was, like, the initial Jordan brand schools had them, whether it was, like, North Carolina. I think Michigan had a pair. But the Jordan Team 1 was definitely like another favorite of mine.
That's a good pick.
Just a little, just a level below the Jumpman Pro, but still
for sure.
Yeah, but still definitely can hang among like, signature Air Jordans because, when you don't have a lot, you still don't have like a lot of products to come out. You kind of have to like stand out and try your best and like, just put out the pinnacle product and all that stuff. And I always felt like that was up there too. Like, Jumpman Pros, the Pro, the Team Ones, even like, the pseudo signatures from Eddie Jones and Vin Baker's, the Pro Strong, the Pro Quicks. I always loved those too. So that was the time when like everything the Jordan brand Jordan, whatever you want to call it, was dropping at the time was like just all heat, all bangers. And like you said,
and everybody
we
loves
never
it, every bit
considered
of
them
it.
like they were never pejoratives. They were never divisive. They were never the bad word Team Jordans. They were just Jordans and they were cool. So and I, for whatever reason, man, like as the generations came along and they just saw those and they thought they were trash, and I'm like, y'all just missed out. Y'all were not around for that time.
Yeah,
when,
they just weren't reselling for a lot of money, and that's why I think they got left behind.
Man, like, when the first rollout, like I remember the Jordan magazine from Slam like, when Slam magazine made that Jordan magazine, I thought that was the coolest shit ever. I was like, and all the stuff in there, everything they were hyping, I was like, I want all of these. Dad, can I buy some of these? They're like, no, son. And I'm like, God damn.
No.
You'll get you'll get the Team One at some point. Damn. Okay. Well, anyways.
There you go.
At least I get that.
It's a good dad. Good dad there.
Anyways, so next one is the non-OG, which basically means any quote unquote Team Jordan past the 2000s. There's a lot to choose from, and I did mention it earlier. I think I'm gonna go with the Jordan Apex Utility, which was around the time of like 2017, 2018. It was like it had like a lot of NASA inspiration. It was like a it was like a Flyknit Air Jordan that was covered up in like this material, like this mesh material, zippered up and everything, and it had like React cushioning. So yeah, no, I just always loved the look of those. Like I said, I always thought it was like an interesting lane for Jordan to pursue, and thought it would take off, but it didn't. So I'm like, oh, sad face. But hey.
Sad faced.
Sad face one. But yeah, no, so definitely that would be my pick, the Jordan Apex Utility for non-OG.
Okay. Jordan 6 rings. I feel like it's kind of like it's like a middle ground for a sneaker, kind of signature, kind of Team Jordan, and it blends those two worlds, I think, in the best way. So yeah, 6 rings. It's a good one.
That's a good one. And then your signature line, who are you going to go with for your signature?
Now, this one's tough. This one's tough because there's two people that come to mind. Right. Mello and CP, for me, come to mind. And gosh, I'm going to have to go. I think I'm going to go with Chris Paul. I'm going to go with CP.
Good choice.
Yeah. He had a lot of great shoes. A lot of those were really, really good. Price was great for a lot of them. I know they fell out of favor, but I'm rooting for. I would go with those for my Mount Rushmore for signature non Jordan signature athletes on Jordan brand. Yeah.
And I think like a part of that is because like we were exposed to a lot of CPs during that time.
Yes,
because
there's definitely a bias.
There's a certain kind of bias, and I could definitely see myself picking the CP line in that case. But since you went with that, I think I'm gonna go with the Randy Moss's line, the Super Freaks. Well, it had different names. They were like the Mossified and all that stuff. But basically, when I think about Randy Moss's Jordan line, I think it's called the Super Freak, even though it had different names afterwards.
But yeah.
The Jordan Super Freak, just personally, I always thought when those dropped, I was like, man, I love those shoes. Love them. Love the way they look.
It's a good one.
Yeah. And he wore them on the field too, and he just looked total badass in them. So, yeah, I mean, Randy Moss is one of my favorite football players of all time. And, like, he was part of the original Jordan crew. And I was like, man, perfect dude to be like a Jumpman guy. And, he got the signature line. And I was like, yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. That's a good one.
All right. So, for my pick for athlete, which kind of falls in line with, like, the signature line and everything. I kind of want to give a shout out to, there's a lot of people to choose from. Ray Allen, Melo, CP, Derek Jeter, and all that stuff. I mean, we could have gone with Travis Scott if we wanted to, because we're just talking about like anybody who's assigned to
Yeah.
the Jordan brand.
Yeah, yeah.
Jordan, Travis. I think I'm gonna go with Maya Moore,
Oh,
mostly
good
out of
one.
respect,
Good
but
one.
also because she did get a lot. A lot of people were talking junk about like the picture that she posted, alongside when she was copying like the ring celebration
Yeah,
with
with the rings.
Jordan.
Yeah.
So that's my like, hey, Maya Moore's a badass. She was a champion, and
Yes.
she
100%.
won a lot more championships than a lot of Jordan brand athletes. If you really look at it, if you really think
Yep.
about it, not a lot of
Yep.
Jordan athletes actually are actual
Yep.
champions. I mean, you got Ray Allen's got 2, but unfortunately, like Chris is still trying.
Yeah. Still
Melo
trying.
never
Still
got
trying.
one. I mean, thank goodness Jalen Hurts won a Super Bowl for Jordan Brand. It took a while, but they finally got one. But
Got
when it
one.
comes to like rings, gold medals, just college championships, you want to count those? Maya Moore's got them all beat. So
Yeah.
got a shout out to
Okay.
arguably one of the GOATs, if not the GOAT of, the WNBA.
WNBA.
Diana
Yeah.
Taurasi, Maya Moore.
Okay. So then it's my turn. So athlete, I'm gonna go with the 2025 Ryder Cup captain, Keegan Bradley.
Nice.
Gotta get some golf shit in here. So Keegan, I mean, I don't know if he's a Jordan athlete or if he's just Jordan's homie, but
I
he
feel
has
like
his
it's
own
the latter.
The latter, yeah, just like Jordan's homie. He has his own line of Jordan golf shoes that are just made for him. I don't think any of them have come. I think one released to the public, but most of them are just like Keegan gets like dope shit from Jordan. So I gotta go with Keegan. I gotta get a little bit of golf love in here and mix it up a little bit. So I'm going with him and his wild. Now I will say this: his golf shoes aren't what you expect from golf shoes. They're very Keegan, if that makes sense. But
it's not
he's doing his
traditional.
own, he's doing his thing. Yeah, it's not a sneaker. It's not traditional. It's like a mix between the two. So yeah, they're very interesting looking. Yeah, very esoteric, and a lot of them have tons of elephant print. I don't know what that's about, but so I'll be interested to see what they get him for Ryder Cup, to see how they match up his J's with. I mean, well, I guess he's technically not playing, so which means he could really like show out in some like really dope kicks. I'm gonna have to reach out to Jordan Brand and see if they have something special planned for him for Ryder Cup.
Yeah, no, and that's a great pick. Just out of nowhere, and obviously Jordan's like had a big role in golf now. They're really pushing the golf aspect, and so definitely good choice there. Still have the wild card to go.
My wild card. So this one, I'm not even sure people are gonna remember this one. But I love playing in these. It was the Jordan Big Ups. And this was probably 2011, 2012. They had this massive like Air Max unit in the heel. Yeah, I think.
Oh, I remember these.
I think I had the gray pair and I had the black and red pair. And I destroyed them both playing in them. And I was just a big fan of the shoes. And I'm assuming, I don't remember what year. I'm going to look it up right now. So 2011 is when they were like announced. They were at like Foot Locker. So this is like 2011, 2012. So was that 10, 12, 13, 14 years ago? So
yeah,
I'm rocking with those. Those are my wild card. I still have a pair. I have the gray pair in my storage unit still. I might have to break those out one day if the air bubble isn't destroyed by now.
There's a very real possibility that it is at this point, right? But yeah,
well,
I remember these. I do remember like seeing people hooping these, especially back in the days. I was like 2010s, 2011s, right?
Yeah.
No, you're right. Like, and like I said, we'd never thought of them as like anything other than Jordan stuff. Like it wasn't never looked at badly. It was never looked at like, looked down on them just because they weren't like, obviously you look at them differently because they're not Air Jordans, but it was never like, oh, these are garbage because they're not Air Jordans.
Right.
It's just different.
Yeah.
It's just a different look. Yeah. All right. So for my wild card, there's a part of me that wants to kind kind of show some respect, show some love because of like the impact that Travis Scott has had, through the
Okay,
years.
that would be
The Jordan brand with
respectable. That would be
the Joe Man
respectable.
Jack and all that stuff, and same thing with Spike Lee. Whether
Yep.
it's the Spizikes or the Son of Mars and all that stuff. I remember one of the first care packages I got from Jordan brand included like what was it, like a multicolor, like a almost like an artsy version of like the Son of Mars. And I still
Okay.
have them here somewhere. I never wore them, but yeah, man, like I remember getting them and it didn't have like the regular box label, and I was like, oh, look at that, it doesn't have the regular box label. It's kind of like courtesy of Jordan brand. I was like, oh my god, it's so cool. I'm so cool.
That's cool. That's dope.
So yeah, shout out Santini. He knows. But yeah. But I think since you brought up the big ups, I think I'm gonna go with another deep cut too. And it's technically a Jordan 1, but it's also not a Jordan 1. So I'm gonna go with the Air Jordan 1 Alpha 1. Basically, it's the Air Jordan 1, but with a lot of tweaks to the upper. It's got like a perforated upper. The material's a lot different.
Yeah.
The tooling is definitely very different. But
Yeah.
I remember getting these at a foot action. No, wait, was it foot action or was it a finish line? And just thinking to myself, man, I finally got some baby blue Air Jordan 1s. Don't say anything. But yeah, man, I thought they were pretty cool. Like, I just thought they were pretty nice, and they were never played in them. So I have no idea what their performance benefits were or anything like that. I never, got a chance to hoop in them, but I was just like, whatever. These are Air Jordan 1s. Like, I never looked at them as anything different than, they're Jordan 1s. And obviously, once I got more deeper into the game and started working in it, I understood the difference now, but I never looked at it as lesser than. I never looked at these Alpha 1s as lesser than. They're just a different version of Jordan 1s. Just like, all of the future Air Jordan 1s, whether it's Flyknit or any of those designs. So, but yeah. That was our non-Air Jordan sneaker Mount Rushmore Plus.
Jordan sneaker.
The Team Jordan sneaker Mount Rushmore Plus, man. Whatever. We embrace the term. We love it though. We don't care. But anyways, that was episode 54 of the Too Hard to Pass podcast. I'm probably gonna get yelled at when I go downstairs because it's time to get dinner ready. I am your co-host, Juan Martinez. Jacques Slade, it's time for the shameless plugs.
Yeah, I'm Jacques Slade. Thank you guys for watching the show. We appreciate you guys. Make sure you leave us a comment. Make sure you give us the recommendations. If you want to shoot us an email, it's toohardtopasspodcast@gmail.com. That's toohardtopasspodcast. The number 2, not the word 2, the number 2. As always, we appreciate you. And we'll see or talk to you guys next time. Peace.
We out.